Before we begin, please imagine the bell notification is on and you're subscribed to Huna Stories. The night began as a celebration. Our new home, our fresh start, the life we were meant to build together. Friends, coworkers, neighbors, everyone we knew arrived with gifts, bottles of wine, and easy laughter. I stood outside grilling, welcoming people out the door, making sure everything ran smoothly. I felt proud. Proud of the house, proud of the moment, proud of the marriage I believed I had. My wife, Emma, moved through the rooms like she owned the night. She was radiant, charming, captivating everyone she spoke to. I assumed she was simply being a gracious host. In truth, she was setting the stage for the greatest humiliation of my life. From early on, something felt wrong. Emma kept disappearing into the hallway or kitchen, whispering into her phone, pretending to check appetizers or refill drinks, though nothing needed attention. Each time I approached her, she smiled too brightly, touched my arm for a brief second, then drifted away again. I dismissed it. Parties made her restless, and she often distracted herself. Then Adrian arrived, her coworker. Young, fit, confident, the kind of man people notice instantly. Emma noticed him more than anyone else, far more. The moment he walked in, her energy shifted. She lit up in a way I hadn't seen directed at me in a long time. They stood together in the corner, whispering, laughing, leaning so close their shoulders touched. Guests began to notice. A few exchanged uneasy looks. One of my friends nudged me and asked quietly, "Man, are you two okay?" I forced a smile and pretended not to see what was obvious to everyone else. The truth struck like a blade when I stepped into the hallway and saw Adrian's hand brush against her lower back, lingering a moment too long. She didn't pull away. She didn't react at all. She smiled. I approached her calmly, quietly, hoping desperately that I was mistaken. I said her name softly and asked if we could talk outside. Instead, she folded her arms, rolled her eyes exaggeratedly, and said loud enough for nearby guests to hear, "Not now, don't ruin the night." Her tone hurt more than the words. I swallowed the pain and stepped outside alone, trying to steady myself. When I came back in, everything shattered. I entered the living room to find her standing at the center, face flushed, eyes blazing, and beside her stood Adrian, far too close. Guests had formed a loose circle around them, tense and confused. Someone must have asked what was going on because the next moment she snapped. She pointed at me, hands shaking, her voice rising so loud the music seemed to stop. "Yes, we're sleeping together," she screamed. "He's better than you. Now leave, just leave." The room went silent. Guests stared in disbelief. A few gasped. Someone whispered, "Oh my God." I stood there as everything collapsed inside my chest. Her words weren't just cruel, they felt like an execution. Public, brutal, and final. She humiliated me in our own home, at our own party, in front of everyone we knew. But the worst part was that Adrian looked horrified too. He clearly hadn't expected her to explode like that. He stepped away from her, muttering, "Emma, what the hell?" She ignored him, her eyes fixed on me, breathing hard as if she had finally broken free from some imaginary prison. I didn't yell back, I didn't curse, I didn't ask questions. Instead, I took a slow breath, nodded once, and walked toward the door. People moved aside from me as if I were a ghost. Emma expected me to fight, to beg, to fall apart, but I gave her none of that. I simply left. That silence destroyed her. The second the door closed behind me, the illusion she had created collapsed in front of her guests. People turned on her immediately. One coworker muttered, "You're disgusting." A neighbor shook his head in disappointment. Someone else said, "You embarrassed your husband for what?" Adrian pulled his hand away from her and stepped back. "I never agreed to this," he said firmly. "You're crazy. I'm not part of whatever fantasy this is." Then, right in front of everyone, he walked out as well. Her so-called better man abandoned her at the exact moment she needed him to support her lies. Within minutes, most of the guests left, whispering, judging, stunned. The party ended in shame, not celebration. Emma stood alone in the middle of the living room of the house I paid for, surrounded by dirty dishes, spilled drinks, and the wreckage of her own outburst. She called me 27 times that night. She sent long messages and voice notes filled with sobbing apologies, claiming she didn't mean it, that she just wanted attention, that she was drunk and foolish. But the truth was simple. She showed everyone who she really was. She destroyed herself in the process, and I never went back. The next morning, when her parents arrived after hearing what happened, they found her curled up on the couch, crying, the house silent and empty except for the marriage she had burned to ashes with her own hands. She wanted me gone. She wanted him instead. She wanted drama, attention, power. But what she truly got was the one thing she never imagined.